Alright, so the first tactics video of FIFA 23 is here. Now, I've played over about 50 to 60 games of Rivals. I'm up to the very high divisions on this account, which means I'm playing pros and competitive players, so I think I have a good understanding of what works and what doesn't. And specifically, the formation we're going to be showing you works an absolute treat. Now, you guys know I've gained a reputation for having the formations and the tactics that work best for you, so I'm hoping this year is going to be no different. Thank you for the support so far. I'm really excited to continue to bring player reviews, all different types of content, of course the formations and custom tactics, which are a mainstay on this channel. But once again, thank you for all of the support. Let's go and have a look at the tactics. This is the team we're currently playing with. Very good team, to be fair, with a few dodgy ones in there like Fred, Patricio. That's about it really. But let's get into the tactics now. And we're going to be starting off with the instructions. So we've got Ronaldo and Diaz up front, Salah in behind, Fred in the CDM role. Ronaldo is on stay forward and target man. And then Luis Diaz is on stay central, getting behind and stay forward. Same with Ronaldo, he's also on stay forward. Now, my understanding of this game so far is you want one player that's really fast, really good dribbling and can shoot on both feet. Then you want somebody that's a bit slower, or not slower if you can help it, but somebody that's a bit more able to hold up the ball and do all of that kind of stuff, play the ball off to the other players, and that is what Ronaldo is in the team to do. So he's on target man, stay forward, and he's there to kind of play the ball in between the lines, and Diaz is there to really get in behind and kind of score the goals, I would say. Ronaldo's good because he can score from anywhere, so if you do get the opportunity to do a power shot or something with Ronaldo, you can take that opportunity, but he is there to kind of provide to Diaz, who is the getting behind player and is meant to score most of the goals. So that's why I've got it set up like that. I'd highly recommend you guys try that as well. Try and get somebody like Haaland, for example, who is good at running in behind as well, but can also hold up the play. Lewandowski, for example, Benzema, players like that, and then somebody like Salah, Diaz, Nunez even, and players like that next door to them. Two strikers are key on this game at the moment because it is hard to create chances because the attacking AI isn't that good. Neither is the defensive AI now, which is actually a good thing, I would say, in my personal opinion. So yeah, that's my kind of understanding of the two strikers. One that's bulky and able to hold up the play, and the other one that can get in behind. Now the cam, it's very important to have somebody like Salah, somebody who's really good at dribbling, somebody that can pass competently, whether that be Salah, whether that be Messi, whether that be Dembele. I think Messi's probably the best for this role here. He's a bit slow though, and you need a lot of pace here. I highly recommend 5-star skills, a 5-star weak foot in this role. Same with the strikers, at least a 4-star weak foot up front. And then for the cam, I'd recommend skills over weak foot, but weak foot is still important in this role. And he's just on stay forward, Salah is here. And that is probably the most important position in the team, the cam role. And they need to have good stamina as well, because if they don't have good stamina, what ends up happening is about the 60th, 70th minute, and they do kind of die. But we do have a solution for that, which I'm going to show you guys very, very soon. Two midfielders are just on absolutely balanced. Renato Sanchez there to kind of break up the play in the box-to-box role. Foden there to kind of be the more advancing centre mid that can kind of get a bit more creative and do a bit more. Both on balance for both of them. Fred is on cover centre and stay back while attacking. Wherever your CDM is here, make sure you have them on stay back and cover centre. It seems if you even put the midfielders on stay back, they don't really stay back, but when you put them on get forward, they really do go forward. So make sure you take that into account. If you want to put your more attacking centre mid on get forward, you can, but you're going to be a bit exposed in the midfield. You're going to lose the midfield battle quite often, but the tactics are meant to set up where you are meant to play on the break quite a lot. But yeah, that's why the two midfielders are both on balance, and then Fred is also on stay back and cover centre, as we already discussed. Now, our fullbacks, it's quite interesting this one, right? I say this every single year. Fullbacks are really, really, really important this year. And they are on stay back here, and they're both on overlap as well. Now, I do in game, I press up on the D-pad and then left to get them to attack straight from the off. So as soon as the whistle goes and you kick off, I switch to the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, and then I switch into attacking fullbacks. So it's a lot easier to do that than pause in, then put them on join the attack and all of that. So just make sure you do that, and if you feel like you've got the beating of your opponent, you score early on, score a few goals early on whilst your fullbacks are on attacking, you can then take them off and play a bit more defensively sound. But fullbacks are really important because the crossing's really good this year, and having the extra players in the overlapping areas, you know, the wide areas, what our fullbacks are kind of operating in, and the only players that are operating in a wide area, they need to be able to go forward. They're also very, very good on inverted as well this year. And if you have somebody like Trent, for example, playing right back, put him on inverted, I promise you he's usable this year, from my experience, that is anyway. So that is what we do with the fullbacks. I highly recommend you learn to do it this way, as it stops the pause and kind of like ruins your momentum and stuff like that. So just press up on the D-pad and left to get your attacking fullbacks going in game. So that is how the instructions set up on the team. Then we're going to move into tactics, okay? So we're on pressure on heavy touch, 50 width, 55 depth, fast build up, forward runs, 20 for width on the attacking side of things, 7 players in the box, then 1-1 on corners. So I want to quickly go over the pressure on heavy touch because this is a very interesting one, okay? Especially this year, even more so. You can even get away with press after possession loss, but it is still a bit risky. Now on next gen, there are a lot of poor touches that players take, especially in the midfield. If you've got a CDM that isn't very good at dribbling, for example, it's quite often that they will take a heavy touch. So this pressure on heavy touch is really good for stuff like that, right? And whilst it will drain your stamina, it absolutely will. You can make 5 subs this year. So with the ability to make 5 subs, you can really fully change your midfield in the full 1-2-1-2 narrow, the 2 centre mids, the CDM, and both the fullbacks. So they're the positions that really get affected by the stamina most, other than the cam. But if your cam has good stamina, you don't have to worry about that anyway. It's more so for the centre mids, the CDM, and the 2 fullbacks. So if you have the pressure on heavy touch, you can get away with the low stamina that you will be affected by in about the 70th, 80th minute by making substitutes, which you can make 5 of now. So pressure on heavy touch is my favourite as well outside of that, because of the heavy touches that a lot of players do seem to take on this game. So that is why we've gone for pressure on heavy touch. 50 width, you don't want to drop too deep and then be too compact as well. You want to have the ability to have the width to deal with the wide players that are playing wide formations, and then the ability to deal with the players that are playing direct, like me, myself, and like you guys are going to be, hopefully, after you see these tactics, which is why we like to keep it on 50. If you are aware that your opponent is playing in a narrow formation, you can always drop this down to deal with the more middle of the park kind of play. But I like to keep it on 50 because you never know what players are going to change to. If they want to change up their tactics mid-game, they can also do that to go more wide. So keep that on 50. Depth is completely up to you. I think having this higher this year is important though, because you don't get help from AI blocks or anything. So there's no point sitting with a low block this year, okay? Higher depth works better, but you have to make sure you have a lot of pace to be able to use this effectively. 55 depth for us is very good, and make sure you have this higher than you do. Make sure it's over 50 essentially, because AI blocks are not going to help you this year at all, which means the low depth doesn't really work anymore. Fast build up, very good for counter attacking, one of my favourite tactics every single year. And whilst fast build up is quite an aggressive tactic, it seems that they've nerfed it a little bit this year, which has actually worked very well for us, because fast build up is really good and allows players to move forward very quickly, but they don't move as fast anymore, which means that whilst you can still counter attack using this, it's a bit more solid for getting countered. If you lose the ball in the midfield, you have a bit more cover than you usually would on other FIFAs, which made fast build up actually quite hard to use. But this year, they've certainly changed that to where it is very good in that regard. Forward runs is really good played with fast build up, because you can play the over the tops, you can do the through balls, and obviously with the cam being so important in this formation, when the cam receives the ball, you're looking forward, you're looking up, you're looking for that pass to one of the strikers. When Luis Diaz is running through his, getting behind striker, you can find him with ease with forward runs on. If it goes over the top, if it goes on the floor, if it goes for a ground driven pass, you've got all them options there, and forward run seems to really, really help that, and is very, very effective this year. These two in tandem, in combination with each other, work really, really well in my personal opinion. 20 width. Now guys, if you've watched me before, you'll know that I always like to have low width on the attacking side of things. The reason for that is because the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow is a very narrow formation, believe it or not, and you have to be direct with this formation, right? You don't want to be going wide unless the fullbacks are 100% there and you've got 100% pass onto them. You have no option to go wide, so why have the width high? You might as well continue to play into the narrow kind of formation that this is, and play direct through it. So that is why the width is low here, and I find that to work really, really well. Players in the box, I like to have this high because crossing's really good this year. You could also get away if you've got someone like Ronaldo. You could actually put this on like 1 or 2. to where Ronaldo's the only man in the box. But what I found happens quite a lot is when you have an aerial threat, and you put them on 1 or 2, it ends up meaning that you're marked out by every centre-back, right? Or every defender that your opposition has. With this one having higher on it, it allows you to kind of mark other players out the game. So you say Salah is marking, for example, Van Dijk, and Luis Diaz is on Ruben Diaz, for example. Ronaldo peels off to one of the fullbacks and gets an easy header every single time. That's how I found it works, and you do end up winning headers quite a lot against fullbacks if you've got somebody that is able to get up and win headers. So that's why I have this on 7. Corners, honestly, I don't mind corners this year. You might want to put this on 2. You might want to put this on 3. Anything above 3 though, and you're in dangerous territory, because you will get hit on the break way too hard. I would say 3 is the maximum, and I like 1 because I don't get hit on the break at all. And a lot of players are on the edge of the box. Jesus Christ, I can't get my words out. Apologies for that. Are on the edge of the box if you want to do a power shot or a finesse shot from the edge of the box, and they do still work if you've got the right players for it. Free kicks is very much irrelevant, guys. I wouldn't worry about free kicks at all. If you're going to take a free kick from like a wide area, then you want to just pass it off. If it's in an area where you can shoot, you obviously want to shoot. So having this low is okay. Definitely keep that one on 1. Corners is very much up to you what you prefer, but I do like 1, but I also don't mind 3 either. So up to you on that one, guys. So yeah, guys, that's the custom tactics I have been using since FIFA 23 came out. A few takeaways from this one is pressure on heavy touch is really good with the 5 subs now. Stamina is obviously still important, but you can get away with it. Fast build up and forward runs work really well together. Low width because you're playing a direct formation. In terms of the actual team and what you need in the front 3 more than anything, there's a target man, a getting behind striker, and then a cam that's really good dribbling wise and can pass really well, which is what we have in abundance here. I'd highly recommend you guys try and keep to this kind of setup that we've got going on, this kind of method that we're using currently, and it works really well in the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, guys, which is the formation that I've always loved, and it is still really good this year. Narrow formations seem to be taking the kind of dominance once again this year. But guys, let me know what you're using, what you think. I hope you try out these tactics and you like them. Let me know if you do try them out. But guys, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell so you never miss a video. But guys, that's going to be it from me for now, so take care.